Hello, I'm Stephen Engel with PanAmerican Seed, and I have with me three of our product managers. I have Robin Ruther, Andrew Moon, and Marcus Jensen. Today, we are going to talk about the new varieties for 2026. We're going to start with our Wave series, and before we start talking about products on the Waves, one of the very exciting things with 2025 is that it's the 30th anniversary of the Wave brand. So starting this May, we are going to have National Wave Day on May 3rd. That will be every May 3rd going forward. With the 30th year anniversary, we also have all of the POP updated. So all of the banners, cart banners, signage that we have that's available is going to have the 30th anniversary logos on it. Any of the POP that you're interested in, you can contact your Ball Seed rep and they can help facilitate getting you the POP for the waves. For 2026, we're going to introduce a new Top Wave Pansy series. It's going to be called Top Wave, and it's going to be addition to the Cool Wave series. Robin, do you want to talk about the colors that we have in Top Wave?
Sure. Yeah, we have 8 colors, and something that is exciting is that they are all brand new colors, not currently in Cool Wave. So they are new and exciting color additions, including an orange, which isn't currently in any spreading pansy series. My personal favorite is Pink Shades. It's sort of has multiple shades of pink, different tones from a very pale pink to kind of a richer rosy pink. So it's almost like having a mix in one plant, which looks really pretty in a basket, I think. Marina is also a really popular one. So these are all new colors, and also the flower size is bigger than Cool Wave. I think you're going to talk about maybe the differences and the similarities, but these flowers are about 25% bigger than Cool Wave.
Thank you, Robin. So as Robin said, the flower size is larger, and so when the differences between Top Wave and Cool Wave, the flower size being one is larger. The other big difference between Top Wave and Cool Wave is the habit. So Top Wave has a very mounded habit. It still spreads when it gets in the ground, but it's great in a hanging basket because it's got that nice mounded habit. It works well in combos because of the habit as well. And with that mounded habit and the better branching, you get more flowers throughout the plant instead of flowering more at the edges of the plant. So you have a very nice full plant full of flowers. Timing wise, it's going to time very similar to your Cool Wave pansies here in North America. And as Robin mentioned, we have a lot of new colors for the Top Wave that are not in the Cool Wave series. So Robin, any other things that you might want to say about Top Wave? Any great tips for using in combos or mixes?
Yeah, like you were saying, it's great in combos. One thing it can do really well that Cool Wave struggled to do is look really good at point of sale in a premium pot size, so like a 4-inch or 6-inch pot. Cool Wave has such a prostrate habit that it just didn't appeal necessarily to consumers right there in point of sale. It looked great in a basket, but now you can have a trailing pansy in kind of a smaller pot size, and it still mounds up, like you were saying. Looks attractive then, and it will continue to look attractive when they take it home.
Absolutely. So seed will be all of the new varieties that we talk about today. These are 2026 introductions. Seed will be available April 1st of 2025. So for growers in the South, seed will definitely be available for fall of 25 and spring of 26 cells. And then we will move into the wave petunias. We have a lot of introductions in wave petunias this year. So very exciting new varieties here. The first one is going to be the E3 Easy Wave Deja Vu mix. So this mix is going to include the E3 White, the E3 Blue, and then a future introduction called Midnight Marble. So that color will not be available as an individual color in 26, but it'll be in the Deja Vu mix. One thing that I do caution growers with on this particular mix is the bicolor petunia. Temperatures, PGRs will all play a role in how much blue and how much white you get. So based on where you're located and how you grow this, you may see a little variance on the amount of blue and white. Mark, Andrew, is there anything you want to add on the Deja Vu mix?
Um, I think you covered a lot of it. Like you said, this new Midnight Marble isn't available as a individual color, but I really like how it's paired with our blue and white in this mixture. I almost prefer it in this mix. I think it makes a very beautiful basket.
And Stephen, if you flip to the next slide, I just want to remind folks that we're making efforts in this E3 Easy Wave series. That's the earlier flowering kind of dome habit in the Wave family of products, working on more patterns and things. Last year we introduced that Rose Morn, so you're seeing efforts from our breeders here to bring you fun, exciting patterns in that E3 series.
Yeah, and not only is the habit the more mounded, but these are the early petunias. So all of these varieties have 10-hour daylings or less. So for the southern growers, if you're watching this and you're in the southern US, this will bloom early for you without a lot of lighting. And so really with the earliness and the habit, great new series that we introduced a few years ago, and we are continuing to add to it each year. And then we can talk about the Easy Wave. Um, so I really like this new color in Easy Wave. This one's going to be called Pink Pearl. It's a very elegant pink. This is going to work really nice in baskets, in combos, and in containers. It's got a large flower size, and so habit is also going to be fairly large. It's going to be similar to some of our velours, um, but it's going to be an early blooming, a 9.5 hour day length to bloom. In this picture, you can really see the veining that is in this flower. And again, this is one that, based on temperature, you may see a little bit darker of that pink color. You may see a little bit lighter of the pink color. Um, Andrew, is there anything you want to say about Pink Pearl?
Yeah. I did want to call out and ask the group, do you know what material you celebrate a 30-year anniversary with? Anyone? It's the pearl. And so I think this is a really good homage to the 30-year anniversary. And like you said, it's a beautiful lighter pink, which we don't have a lot of light colors in our Easy Wave right now, but it has that radiating rose veining coming from the center.
Yeah, this is a very exciting color. I think it's going to be a great spring color. A lot of opportunities with mixes. If you take Pink Pearl and you mix it with a yellow, the Calaburst, the Pachoa Calaburst yellow, and a sky blue Easy Wave, you've got a really nice Easter type mix. Lots of different things you can mix with Pink Pearl and have some great combos. And then these are some of our mixtures that we have in Easy Wave. Next, we'll talk Shockwave. So Shockwave is our small blooming Easy Wave series, or our small blooming wave series. The Shockwave are going to have better reboundability, whether it's from rain or from overhead watering in the landscape or in the greenhouse. So quite a few introductions in Shockwave. So two improvements, deep purple improved and red improvement. Both of these are improved for better cold durability. So when we talk cold durability, we're talking about the ability to grow the wave petunias at temperatures down to around 50 degrees. And so all of the E3, all of the Easy Wave have cold durability. And now with these improvements, most of Shockwave will have the cold durability. With these improvements, you're also getting earlier to bloom. So the deep purple will be a 9-hour, the red improved will be 10-hour day lengths. And also improvements in habit, getting a little more mounded habit, getting better color on the blooms, a deeper red, deeper purple. So some great improvements on the deep purple and the red. And then the volt mix improved. That is adding the red improved to the volt mix. And that will now make volt mix a cold durable series. And then we have two new colors. So rose vein, this is going to be a little more controlled habit than the shockwave pink vein. Going to be a very deep center dark throat to this with a really nice rose outside. And you really see the veining well in here. And then the violet, very vibrant color, very different than the purple, the deep purple that we have. This one's going to be very bright, and it's going to be early to bloom as well with that 10-hour day length. So, Andrew, anything you want to say about Shockwave?
You covered a lot of it. We have new bright, bold colors. Last year, we started exploring using our shockwave with Easy Wave or E3 Easy Wave in mixes and combos. So these additional colors and improvements bring these up to the level of the rest of the Wave series. And I invite you all to explore and experiment with different combos of these as well.
That's great. And be looking for, if you watch any of the cast videos that come out later this year after cast, be looking for our shockwave display and some of the stuff we'll have it cast to demonstrate some of that durability of the shockwave blooms. And so this slide just shows the alignment of shockwaves now. So adding a couple new colors, we have a really good variety of colors and a couple mixes in shockwaves. All right, well, now we can move into annuals. And so a lot of exciting stuff in the annuals as well. And we will start with one of my favorite new introductions, and this is Premium Sun Coleus called Sweet Paprika. So with Sweet Paprika, you get that very dark red. It's a color that up until now has been primarily available as a vegetative option, and now we'll have a great seed option for it. It's going to be a medium vigor when you compare all the different Premium Sun Coleuses. This one's going to be in the medium vigor. It is late flowering. And I do want to point out that there is a small percentage of off types that will have a green margin to the leaf. And it's something that it's not really noticeable, especially when you have it planted in mass production. But from a production standpoint, I do like to let the customers know that you will see a little bit of that off type, but it doesn't detract from what you have. It really is a very nice coleus. Marcus, is there anything you want to add about Sweet Paprika?
Yeah, just to remind people at home what our message is behind this Premium Sun collection of coleus. This is a group of coleus that handles both full sun and full shade. So pretty versatile in the way you can use them in a landscape. We've selected for late flower and just durability and performance in containers or in the ground. These are kind of your workhorse premium type coleus. Some of you might be familiar with our other seed coleus like Kong Jr. We've got lots of options in coleus from PanAmerican, but I'm excited that we're putting more efforts here into Premium Sun and now have a solid red to offer you all.
Yeah, great color.
A Texas A&M maroon, we might say, in the coleus.
I can get behind anything Texas A&M maroon color. For those of y'all that watched the videos last year, you may remember I talked about the new Dianthus Dart series. So it was a new series we introduced last year. It's not going to require much PGR. It's about half the size of the old Dash series. And so this works great in gallons. So if you're using it in gallon containers, you're probably not going to need a lot of PGRs on it. Um, if you do this in a quart, which you can execute Dart in a quart, you will need to use some PGRs in the quart container. But Dart is our early season Dianthus series. So this is your first, if you're growing for spring, this is going to be your first Dianthus. So you come in with Dart, then you move into your other varieties, your Ideal Selects, your Cornets, and then you move into Jolt in the summer. And then for the southern US, you can reverse that going into fall. So Dart would be your last um, variety in the fall. So Dart, it's really that nice upright Dianthus, large blooms. I like to tell growers, think about growing Dart when you're growing pansies. And with Dart and Pansy combinations, they work real well together. So you can use Dart as a centerpiece and put yellow pansies or different color pansies around and really have a nice combination. So for 2026, we're adding a raspberry. I know here on my screen, this looks a little bit on the red side. In real life, this really is a very nice raspberry color. It's hard to photograph the color sometimes, but raspberry will join the 5 colors we introduced last year. So, Andrew, is there anything you want to say about Dart?
Yeah, I also want to call out this new raspberry color by having a beautiful habit as well as meeting the timing. And for me, this is actually my favorite color out of the Dart series. So if you haven't tried Dart yet, I know it's still new. This is a perfect year to do that and start with the raspberry.
Yep, and you can mix. I mentioned doing mixed combinations with this. You can also mix dark colors and make a really nice 10-inch container. Just mixing the dark colors, the white with some of the scarlet or the raspberry will look real nice. So great opportunities here. Next, we'll talk about Beacon and Patience. So just to remind everybody what Beacon and Patience are, Beacon and Patience are the series that is highly resistant to impatiens downy mildew. So with Beacon, we introduced this a few years ago. Great success with Beacon, and even with the high resistance, the growers can grow this and landscapers and homeowners can plant it in their landscapes and have high resistance throughout the entire season to impatiens downy mildew. With that being said, it has high resistance. It is not immune. So beacon can still have some of the impatiens downy mildew. But typically what we see is the plant is able to grow through it. You may see some of the the black dots on the leaves, the yellowing. But typically those leaves are dropped by the plant, which allows the plant to continue to grow through it. So we are adding a couple new colors, and those of you that were with me last year, you saw these 2 new colors in mixes that we introduced last year. So this year we will introduce these standalone colors. So blue pearl and light pink, 2 colors that we've really been needing to add to the series. The blue pearl was in the Chicago mix last year, and the light pink was in the Otway mix we introduced last year. So Marcus, is there anything you want to say about Beacon?
Yeah, if you go ahead and flip to the next slide, showcase that this brings us up to 10 solid colors in that Beacon series. So really, in the few years that the series has been on the market, we've been able to grow and give you a full palette of colors. And what we like about blue pearl and light pink is that we now have some pastel colors that work nice in mixes and have been core colors that you've known in patients for many, many years. So. But the buck doesn't stop here. More breeding coming in Beacon, shining longer, no more downy mildew here with the Beacon and Patience.
Yeah, so really excited to have these new colors. And then we will talk about SolarScape impatiens. So this is the interspecific impatient that we introduced a few years ago, and we have both SolarScape and SolarScape XL. With the SolarScape XL, they're going to be about 20% larger than SolarScape. And what we find with that is typically you're not going to see much of a difference in terms of that 20% when you're growing it in the greenhouse. That 20% difference is really when it's in the landscape and as you get to mid to late summer. And depending on what part of the country you're in, you'll see that 20% probably start to show up in June, July. You'll see the XLs really start to get a little bit bigger at that point. So with SolarScape, a couple new introductions in one in SolarScape and one in SolarScape XL. So in SolarScape, we're adding a new salmon punch. So really nice salmon color, very well branched plant, very uniform habit. So last year when we introduced White Pearl, you saw some of the better branching and some of the plant refinement that's coming to the SolarScape series. And with Salmon Punch, you see that as well. You see that really nice branching, very nice plant habit. Marcus, what do you want to say about SolarScape?
And I know this SolarScape series has been out on the market for a couple years, but if you aren't familiar with what this impatiens does, it's versatile in the way you can use it, the way you can grow it. This is an impatiens that goes in some shade applications and all the way into full sun. So it can go in landscapes, in mixed containers, in hanging baskets. It's a pretty versatile impatiens for sure. And as a grower, you can grow it in a pack, in a 6-inch, in a deco pot, and a hanging basket. It can really go in lots of different places. So we're excited to keep bringing you more and more colors and keep the gas pedal going here with SolarScape impatiens. We can talk about, Steven, if you want to skip to the next slide. He mentioned those XL, they're a bit bigger in size. So last year we launched XL Pink Jewel and XL Lilac Spark, these larger habited SolarScape impatiens. We're now going to be offering a mix. We don't offer a ton of seed mixes in SolarScape, so here we're going to have a limited exclusive XL Brilliant Gems mix. So that brings in some of those hot pink tones and those lilac tones with a little bit of blush in there as well, and like a 3-tone pink mix in Brilliant Gems. And as I did mention, that's a limited time mix. So once we sell through that through that seed, it will be no more. So get that Brilliant Gems mix while you can.
And Marcus, what can you tell us about dry down on SolarScape? Last year at Cast, you had a great display with the dry down and the reboundability. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, how can I forget to mention, we refer to SolarScape as being rebound ready. So as many of you know, impatiens in general, when they dry down, they can be a little bit sassy. If you miss a watering or something like that, we might see some drought stress on impatiens. And the beauty of SolarScape is that after you water that, they bounce back without aborting flower buds. So we've seen that, you know, whether you're a greenhouse grower or a retailer or an end consumer with SolarScape, once we get wilts, if you water them, you can still keep going and keep flowering without losing time.
Yeah, that's great. And that way, consumers that have SolarScape planted, if they go out of town for a weekend or something, they come back and their SolarScape are wilted, they can water and they'll pop right back up and have a very nice landscape still.
Yeah, and I want to mention that not only do we love SolarScape impatiens around here, but All American Selections recognized one of our varieties, XL Pink Jewel, as an All American Selections winner last year. So getting some recognition both for in-ground performance and containers from our friends over at AAS.
Thank you. And then we will talk about Violas. So Viola Sorbet XP, we have one introduction here in 2026, and that's an improvement to the current yellow jump up. So with this improvement, you're going to get better branching. You're going to get a little more compact habit. You're going to have less side flowering. So the flowers are going to be really a lot more up on top than this variety was previous. And you're going to get a little bit better cap color on the violet color there. So Robin, what do you want to add with the yellow jump up?
Yeah, like you said, these are improvements that really just get it right in line with the precision we require for the XP. So it matches really well in habit and timing with all the others. And the flower quality is just a little better in this one too than the previous version. So a nice improvement, an important color. I think this color is sort of the standard, what I think of for violas, like the old Johnny Jump Up color. So important to have a good yellow jump up for sure.
Absolutely. And in this slide, you can see some of the mixes and some of the colors that we have in the Sorbet XP series. Next, we'll talk about a new zinnia series. It's going to be called Elegant, and this is going to be hot mixture. So the hot mix, that's going to be a segregating mix. So this is a mix that um, we are not making the mix. We're not growing individual colors and making the mix. The mix is produced by the plant. So with anything that's a segregating mix, that's really kind of the basics of how that works. So one of the most popular segregating mixes from PanAmerican Seed is the Shine Spirit Echinacea. And we've got some segregating mixes in Osteospermum as well. So this is going to be a new mix here in the zinnias. So the Elegant is going to be very similar to Zesties. So it's going to have the large blooms like Zesty. It's going to be a larger plant, fully double flowers, and really a very nice, hot, vibrant mix. So the colors on this one are a little bit brighter. So the purple on this is brighter than maybe the purple in Zesty. So with this mix, you really get that brightness. Robin, what do you want to say about Elegant Hot Mix?
Yeah, when you're talking about segregating mixes, something that I like to see is that you get some of those in between colors. So maybe something will have a little bit of a coral in the eye or just some more unique shades that are really just kind of special. And yeah, like you were saying, very similar to Zesty in terms of how you grow it and it's similar size, but one thing I love about this mixture is that all the plants are like same height. Sometimes with a blended mix or the mix where we put the different components together, you might have a slightly more compact one, a slightly more vigorous one. With this mix, it is just really uniform.
Absolutely. And with this, Robin, you mentioned you can grow it just like you do the Zesty. So this is very versatile. It can be used in large containers in 10-inch, 12-inch pots. It can be used in 8-inch containers. It can be grown in 4-inch 1801s for landscape sizes. So really versatile, just like Zesty. And then we'll move into cut flowers. And um, Marcus, do you want to talk about cut flowers a little bit?
Sure. I mean, within our Lysianth, we have a few Lysianthus series offered at Pan American. Oh, did we lose our slides there, Stephen?
We did, sorry.
Technical difficulties here, folks, but that's okay. Here in Lysianthus, just a few new breeding improvements and additions in the ABC series. So we've got improvements in both purple and rose, improvements in the quality, also reducing rosetting can sometimes be an issue in genetics in Lysianthus. So two simple improvements there, and then a color addition that we hadn't had before in this segment in the ABC Lysianthus in yellow. So anything else you wanted to add in there, Stephen? Pretty
No,
simple additions to ABC. Yeah.
I,
We
I
find
think
that
you,
Lysianthus is just a growing category in general in cuts, so we're glad that we're continuing to keep up with breeding.
yeah, I think you got that one. And then in Snapdragons, we have one introduction in our Potomac series, and this is Plum Blossom. So this is a new color for us in the Snapdragon. It's similar to our Apple Blossom, but this one's going to be a darker with that Plum Blossom. And this is going to be that 3-4 series of the Potomacs.
Yeah, 3-4 just meaning that these are Snapdragons that do better under a long day growing situation.
Yes, thank you. And then the last section is going to be our vegetables. And so we have a couple vegetable introductions this year. The first one is going to be a new pepper. I really like this pepper. It's a large plant, upright plant, produces medium-sized to large size blocky bell pepper. So when you think about the typical bell pepper shape, that's what this plant produces, that very nice blocky type bell pepper. It's great for using as a stuffed bell pepper. It's got thick walls, and then with that shape, it makes it easy to stuff and bake. But it's also a great tasting bell pepper that can be used as a fresh bell pepper if you want to put it in salads, etc. Um, so
Yeah,
Marcus or
I
Andrew,
yeah,
Robin,
I can add a few things in here. Is not only is it a great bell pepper, but they brought in speed to fruit maturity here and also disease resistance. So there's resistance to a bacterial leaf spot integrated into this variety. And also, as far as a bell pepper goes, this one ripens pretty quickly. You can get green peppers in 50 days and then red peppers by 70 days. So great fruit set, just an all-around great bell pepper, and it pairs nicely. We launched a yellow bell pepper called Trailblazer the year before, so now you can grow these two together. And we're going to be talking about 3 new vegetable varieties today, and these are all what we call ground breakers, meaning they're vegetables that perform well in the ground. Last year we categorized our vegetables into segments: ground bakers, patio picks, and basket bites, and then kitchen minis, depending on whether these do well in a container, in a basket, in ground. But we're going to be all talking about in-ground performers today.
all right. The next one is going to be a new squash. This is going to be a patty pan squash called Green Lightning. It's going to be one of the first that has the green and white type striping on it. So I mentioned earlier that seed would be available April 1st for everything. This is going to be the one exception. Seed on this is already available now because this won an AAS award last fall. And so we have started selling the seed, and so seed is available today for the Green Lightning. Marcus, what do you want to say about the patty pan?
Yeah, it's patty pan type squash. And in terms of harvest goes, we like to say they're best harvested when they're about the size of your palm. So catch them when they're a bit smaller. These can get a bit big in size in the summer. And then at that point, you could use them for a different use, right? Almost like an ornamental gourd if you let them get big. But I got to cook with some of these this summer, chopped them up, roasted them with some other veggies, tossed them up in a pasta salad with pesto and stuff. And they really make for a great flavor and a great looking squash. Even in a bowl on my kitchen counter, that green striping that you get with Green Lightning is quite nice.
Yeah, these could be great decoration as well as edible.
Yeah, many folks are probably used to the yellow patty pan squash, so this is just a fun diversity that you get with Green Lightning. And again, an in-ground performer. This is not necessarily a plant you're going to want to grow in any containers.
And then our last introduction for 2026 is going to be a new tomato called Wonder Star Pink. So with the Wonder Star, these are early maturing, determinate heirloom style tomatoes. So we've introduced Dark Star a couple years ago. We introduced Red Star last year. Now we have the pink in Wonder Star Pink. Um, so great flavor on these. I really like the flavor. Has good disease resistance to late blight and to septoria leaf spot. And on our slide here, we talk about compact habit and performs well in small spaces. But as Marcus said earlier, these are all groundbreakers. So I'd like to point out that while this has a compact habit for an heirloom style tomato, this really needs to go in the ground. But if a consumer has a small area for gardening, this would work great. This is not the tomato I would put in a 12-inch pot, though. Marcus,
Yeah.
what do you want to add here?
Yeah, well, I love what's happening with this breeding is we get that heirloom style fruit and flavor, but they actually have good yield. I feel like a lot of these old heirloom type varieties, wonderful flavor, but you only get a handful of fruit. So what's beautiful about this one, you get the heirloom fruit, but it is determinate. So you get it all in like a pretty concentrated amount of time. I took some of these and did some canning this year. So made some salsas and some sauces out of these Wonder Star varieties, and they're nice. Now that we have the red and a pink and more colors to come too in this program. So.
All right, and that is everything for 2026 from PanAmerican Seed. So thank you all for watching our video. We appreciate getting to introduce you to all the new varieties and be looking for more information on these as the year goes on. And if you have any questions, reach out to your rep and they can answer any more questions you have. Thank you.